welcome to our workshop on Board Packager. I think, when we first started using Board Packager, it was a different time. And I think now that everybody has been working remotely, I think we're going to see more and more of the need for this type of a service. I think more buildings are going to want it. And I think just because it allows you to do something remotely, it will have a huge impact on doing board packages going forward. We're so happy today, everyone. Thank you for joining us, and thank you, Jeremy Kersner, for being there with us right now. We're so pleased to have Ming Wei. Ming is the COO of Board Packager. So welcome, Ming. And Ming's going to be going through the package today. He's going to go through all the basic website from start to how to go through the whole process. And then he's going to give some tips for brokers, as well as how to do the custom package functionality for a building that may be not a part of Board Packager right now. So we will try to get to questions that you have as well, and but also keep it to the time frame that everybody is looking for. So with that, I'll say welcome, Ming, and take us through it.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Feel free to send in your questions as we go along, and Ruth and I will try to get to them as soon as possible. You should all be seeing the Board Packager website at the moment, and really, what Board Packager has are a couple of different functionalities. So, as Ruth mentioned, we have what we call a system package. If the building is in our system, they will have and the package is in our system, and then you can build your own custom package where you can submit it to a property manager outside of our system. So I would encourage that if you have a deal to start, to check here, and you can rather see whether the building is in your system or not. And let's say that you're looking at a building that's not in our system, something will pop up and direct you to do something different, but I'm just going to go through building.
How many buildings do you have in the system?
We have about 2,000 buildings under contract, and we have about 1,400 and change buildings in our system, and about 12, I'd say 80% of them are apply online, so a good 1,200 buildings apply online. So chances are, if you're doing a deal in a building, as you can see from the map in Manhattan, you will probably fall into one of our buildings one way or the other.
Great. Okay.
There's a pretty good coverage. We have a fair amount of partners. You can always look into our partners list here, and it'll show you, all the different property management companies that we are partners with. But the easiest thing is always just to go back to the search bar and just really start there. And okay. So every building has its own. Oh, not seeing Board Packager. Somebody just said they're not seeing us. Is the screen share, is everybody missing the screen share? I see it. Oh, okay. All right, so we'll leave it for a second. So I would say start by doing a search for a building. Every building has its own building page. And I'm going to pull you up one.
Pick up 139 East 33rd. Yeah, perfect.
So you'll see every building has its own building. On the left, you have your pictures, and I'm just going to go through this scrolling down. Some imagery of the building, a little bit of map. If there's a broker specialist, depending on the property management, what they list. You can have building policies. These are some general policies of the building here. Financing policies. Any sort of other information about the building. All of these are inputted by the property management company themselves. So it's not us. So you can be sure that this is fairly accurate information because it's public and they update it on their own. On the left here, you'll see all the applications. Again, I'll come back to this, but every building will put in multiple different kinds of applications generally. So in this one, you can see all the way down to refinance applications. The property management contacts and who the property manager is, and you can always email them directly from here. And this is kind of where you kind of get into a little bit more of where you see the documents online. And these are all the due diligence documents that you would typically contact the property management for, send your certified checks, however you were getting it. And now, if the building's in our system, chances are you can just log in and you can go and you can find all the building financials, bylaws, and just purchase these at your own leisure, and it will just show up to your library. And I'll show you.
Ming, if it's a Brown Harris or Halstead building, do we have to pay for the offering plan and financials?
No, if it is, because you are BHS agents and you're a corporate partner with us, any BHS and Halstead building, when you are logged in as a BHS agent, it will show up as free. So these prices show up, but when you log in, if this was a BHS agent, it would just say free. You would not see the price, and it would not prompt you for payment. So it'll be automatic, you'll see. But, you know, again, and you'll see, it'll say something like this where it says free.
Okay. We like that word.
Yes. And then you have on this side, on the right side, you have all the fees relevant. So most of property management companies now don't just put fees that are due upon submission. They will put all the closing fees as well. So come here, if you're getting ready to do a deal and your client wants to know, hey, what are all the fees, submission and closing otherwise, just check. Again, these are all updated on the regular basis. So you should check here, even on sublets, all the way down to like, you know, per share, and upon some, and you can see now on sublets all the move-in, move-out fees, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. So all the fees that a building has, and then this is for BHS agents. These are the fees that Board Packager takes for us. As a BHS agent, you do not have to pay the single application initiation fee. This fee is borne by BHS, so as an agent, whenever you initiate the package, it is free for you. We have a different rate, discounted rate with BHS that's reconciled. However, in most instances, when you submit the package, your client will have to pay a $45 digital submission fee. Right? This is for the applicant only. So if your client's the landlord, they might not have to pay it. They don't have to pay it. But again, this is if they are applicant and you're submitting. And we take a 5% processing fee on all fees submitted that are not Board Packager fees. So for example, if you were doing a sale in this and you had to pay the credit report fee and the application fee right here, upon submission, we would take a 5% on, you know, $575, for example. And it's all within the system. You'll see it, but I'm just telling you now how to read this page. So very simple stuff, but in certain instances, you will see this where the applicant has the digital submission fee and it's complimentary. So not every property management company does this, but some do. So Douglas Elliman Property, I call this up because DEPM buildings will have this fee as complimentary, and Greenthal buildings will have it as complimentary. It's not for Halstead or Halstead Property Management or BHS Property Management buildings, but you know, so those fees you can't, your applicant cannot get waived. They will just have to pay if it doesn't say complimentary. But beyond that, that's it for the fees. Fairly simple. Now, before I get you back into BHS, into the meat of it, I wanted to show you how, if you don't have your account now, you should always go here for your corporate login to even register or log in. If you've, and some of you may have your accounts already, but if you don't, right, you go here, select BHS.
Where do you find this page, Bing?
So if you're on Board Packager,
yep.
You see the login button on the top right side.
Uh-huh.
And that login button will bring you here where it says corporate login, standard login, or register.
So that's the first thing you should do.
yeah, you guys can skip the standard login and register, and you go here, right? And you'll see Brown Hair Stevens right here.
Mm-hmm.
And then put in your BHS email and put in a password that you want, and then just click register. And then you'll get a prompt, an email prompt that tells you, hey, you've registered this stuff.
And is that a one-time password? You use it every time you go in as board packager?
Yeah, same password you use every time you go into board packager.
Good.
It's not a one time. And it is email sensitive. If you do not have a BHS email, you will not be able to get into the system. So you have to use your BHS email. You cannot use your Gmail. And
Okay.
just to give you, I showed you, like, I tried to, just put in my regular Hotmail, and it told me invalid email. So we check for it. So if you should get this, if you put in your BHS email, it should be no problem.
Okay, great.
We'll get to that. Good question. But let's say now that, and also one quick thing, when you come here to the corporate login, your clients, when they get invited in, if they forget, come here to the standard login. Once somebody is invited in and they want to come back, they always go through the standard login. So do not tell your clients to go here. This is only for you agents. Everybody else plays in these two parts. And
I think people have made that mistake before because they thought that, oh, well, it's BHS, they should use the same corporate.
Yes.
Yeah.
So no, they have their own independent accounts. So we think of so you guys have corporate accounts. Everybody else is an independent account, and that's just the simplest way to think of it. And then I'm going to log in now to my independent broker account. And see, I was looking at this page, so it brings me back to the building page. But let me start you off at the dashboard. When you log in, you should see this. Now, obviously, my dashboard has a lot of information because this is my demo account and I've been running it. But I'll just take you on a quick tour. Everything is fairly standard. Any changes you need to do to your account, you can go here. We don't recommend anything unless you really need to change something. But you can also, there's really not anything here. The only thing that you might care about is your privacy, where you want to turn on two-factor authentication. I personally don't use the two-factor authentication, but we require all our staff for demos, but we require all our staff. This is really, if you really want a second layer of security for your own account. Again, up to you, but this is we build it in as an extra security feature, but you don't need it.
It makes sense. You're dealing with a lot of information.
So, and if your clients ask you, like, look, we have MFA, multi-factor authentication, and it's up to individual brokers to turn it on. We don't turn it on as default. Right. We just tell you. But
certainly everybody should, yeah.
Yes. And then we have a support page here with all the FAQs of what you need, how you can help, you can search, and so log in, register, get started, multi-factor. So whatever you need, it's there. And this will come back to a notifications. But essentially, the dashboard is fairly straightforward. You have your main dashboard here. Your activity feed will show you what's been going on the last, 20, 30 to 50 things that have been happening. It'll keep loading. You can look at your buildings. This is the same buildings page that you saw before. You go back to search. And I'll come back to it in a second. If you have any packages, you can look through your active. If you have archive packages, you can apply a filter and see your archive packages. So I have some archive packages as well. Let's see these are. You can do you can sort it through package types. You can do, sales, rentals, whatever it is. You can sort through statuses, submitted, they've been shared, but very standard. And then if you were purchasing documents, you will end up in your library, and then you can see, like, okay, and you can upload your own documents here.
So would this be if you had a building that wasn't in the system, or there was just
No,
additional
whatever,
documents?
this is whatever that, if you were purchasing documents, so when you purchase a document through the building for, remember we were looking at the due diligence and it was a purchase, it will end up in your library section.
Oh, I see.
Those
Okay.
off, and then you can view it and you can download it, you can delete it, or you can upload your own documents here later or something if you need it. You know, it's just a basic library sort of function. But you can sort through the buildings by co-ops, condos, and rentals on the right side here, and then you can find your building. So let's go back to that building. And again, there are tons of buildings. I usually call this up because 139 East 33rd has like one of the most largest board packages in the system.
Wow, really?
So let's say you're looking at this and you don't want to apply online yet, but you can preview this just to see, okay, how many requirements are there? So you'll see it tells you there are 22 requirements.
Wow.
So, yes. Some of these questions I'll get to as in the course of running it, so don't worry, just keep asking and we'll run through. But so you can see this has 22 requirements. You can kind of see through all they even put dividers, subdividers for you for the financial statements because they need 12 months of documentation, which we don't, which is not typically a typical tax returns, reference letters, landlord reference letter, credit report form, et cetera, 22 requirements and all. You can look at each individual requirements if need be. So let's say I was looking for the estate one. Okay, here's the estate requirements. See multiple pages, this only has one page. But if you go back, and let's say I'm looking at their...
That's a particularly good one to point out because say you have a listing and it's an estate, you can look when you get the listing and prepare the estate. I'm going to need these things so they can get the paperwork together before you even have a deal.
Yes. I think Ruth is absolutely correct. Like even before your sale, or even before your listing, I would encourage everybody, search through here, find all the information that you can't find in the regular listing on here. And same thing, requirements. Like if I'm looking through their requirements, DPM will generally have a requirement cover page. It says, okay, here's what you need. Sometimes their coverages run through 3 pages, but this one is 2. So then you can go back, and you can always go back. So all this stuff. Now, there are agents who will say, I have to get to the specialist stuff at the end, but like now some agents will say, hey, what if I wanted the whole package blank and stuff? We're updating that functionality, but for now, if you wanted to look at the whole package online, you go to apply online. So let's say you're a BHS agent, you've logged in, you're looking at this, you hit apply online to initiate a package. It will initiate and because there's no cost to you, there's no prompt that says you are paying for this, etc. It will just run into the package. And my internet's a little slow, but all right. So there you go. So one quick tip on all this stuff, right? You don't have to remember how Board Packager works in terms of too much detail because we have this thing called the Board Packager beacon. Every time you open a new package in every major section, this thing will show up every time. And if you don't X out of it here where it says do not show the screen again, and I'll see, it will keep popping up and reminding you step by step what this page is, what you can do here, what happens here, right? Mm-hmm. So, and you can move this around. Let's say you're on a large screen and you want to move this around. You can kind of move this around and you can exit out. the same information is available on the right side. And if you, let's say you wanted to come back to it, again, I'll show you. We'll get, see every page, this will pop up again. Now let's say I went back to deal parties. It will pop up again. It will annoy you until you say to not.
I was going to say, that would annoy me.
Annoy you until, so you can always click here, please do not show the screen again.
Yeah, I would do that.
X out of it. And you can always bring it back because there's a tour functionality here that brings it back.
Okay.
So, X out of it, I just leave it here to show you, but now you have your buyers, you have your deal parties, and you'll see that the patch, because this is DEPM live package, you can't change this, and this is locked, right? So this is locked. So now you are looking at your deal parties, and you can put in your buyer's name early. If you don't have a buyer, you can leave it blank, but so I'm going to put in Kenji's name, and let's say that I am the buyer agent. Basically, on all these, you don't have to fill in all these things yet. You just need an email and a name, right? That's my home address. So you just need an email and a name, and you can keep adding. If you have a, so just now somebody said we're doing a co-broke as in, do we give access? So if you're doing a co-broke as a seller's agent, they can initiate the package and give you access, or you can initiate and give yourself access, or and give them access. So all you do is, let's say this is the buyer agent here, right? Close this, and now I want to add the shareholder, the seller's agent. So if there's one, if not, I can, for example, right? Ruth, I don't have your email, but I'm just gonna like Ruth at BHS.com. Forgive me. Let's say I'm doing this, and now and I'll show you why, and now you'll see, okay, I'm here. Then they'll tell you, right, what's the purchase price, let's say, and it will prompt you for the unit number, 10K. And so let's say you fill this in, it's Ruth and me and Kenji, save and continue. You can skip that step, but so before we go on, right, and if you had input all the names in the deal parties here, all those people, the deal parties will show up on your right side right here. If you didn't input anybody's name, nobody would show up here. So you can see, like, I'm here already, I'm the buyer agent, it recognizes me, so it's orange, and then it hasn't shared with Kenji, it hasn't shared with Ruth, so these things are unlit, right? And I'm gonna wait to share it with you, and I'll tell you why, but you'll see. So I don't have to share it immediately, but now you go back to the requirements, and you can see each section is like its own checklist for your requirements. So there were 22 requirements on this thing, and you see now cover letter, all the different sections, all the way down that you saw in preview to financing. So let's say that you thought, okay, I haven't started this, but I know that I'm going to need a section that has personal letter, right? So let's say they want to add their personal letter. So then you can put in. So if you wanted to add your own section, right? You go up to where it says edit just now, and then you tell your applicant, Kenji. You can leave them an instruction. So I'm going to save. So now you added a 23rd. You see how I edit requirements? So now you've added a 23rd requirement to this, right? And it's upload. And some of you will say, well, it's the personal letter. I want it up front. You can't do it because this is locked. Everything that the property manager, if it's a system package, the property manager has locked the format, they've locked the order, and you can't change. You can add as many as you want in the back. So let's see. So you can keep adding as many as you want, and you can even move these. Every time you see the error, you can even move. I'll go back to error requirements. And you can even move the order of what you added, but only within the confines of their, like how they want it. So you've added 2 more, right? So I'm going to go back to save now.
So if somebody wanted to add a letter, like the buyers wanted to present a letter, that would be after 22.
Yes. So you can hit the edit requirements, add it there. But let's say that, all right, so this is a good, let's say that now you are looking at this and you're looking at the functionality, right? So all these are tools for you to fill in and sign, preview, or delete a form. So let's say you're looking at this cover letter and it's just co-op requirements, etc. And you're like, okay, I want to delete this because I'm not going to need this, for whatever reason, because it doesn't have to go back to a package. You can just delete the form. It's not a big deal. I'm going to use this section to show you. And then this will be an empty section. So you can always, so anything that you don't need, you can always delete it. So let's say you see here, oh, I have a REVNY purchase application, but my client already has a purchase application filled out, let's just say. So I'm like, okay, here's my client's purchase application. Oh, everything's slow today. And you remember just now, while we're waiting for this, I added a couple of things to the library. You can see now in the library, some of these other things I have up here as well. So, all right, this is attached. And now you can preview it. Okay, so this was the application that I just added. It was a blank one, but just in case somebody's added. But let's say that you're looking at this now and you think, okay, I have to fill in this purchase application from mine, so I can preview it. You say, okay, this is a preview. I can download the whole thing if I need it. But now, this is sort of the main thing that everybody gets at. Your client and you will have the same functionality here, and I'll show you shortly, but filling out the form. So you can just fill out the form, right? Et cetera, et cetera. So you can keep filling it out as you go on. So this is the simple part of filling out the form. Now, and this is a good, I think Nina Merkins, this is the one you questioned, like if there were some things here and I needed to add some stuff, how do we, so we have, you see the toggle up there between fill out form and edit and sign and edit. Yes. So this is where you can get extra tools if you were uploading your own blank PDF or you needed to change something. There's a sign portion here. There's a text, you can drop your own text box in here. You can highlight anything you want and you can redact anything.
Oh yes, show the redact because we have to redact things on tax returns, etc.
So perfect, so you hit redact and let's say that you scroll down and you're like, okay, I want to redact. I'm just gonna do everything on the first page. I want to redact this. That's it. And you can, and the X means that you can exit out anytime you want. You can come back to it and you can still exit out. So let's say I want to redact this. And let's say I want to change it and I want to white out instead of redact. Sorry. So you can white it out.
Great.
And the signature tool is fairly basic. You can either sign or type. So let's say I'm going to type my name. And you can change the script. and you can put it anywhere you want. So let's say I'm putting it here, right? And you can and this works for anything that you upload a PDF itself. You can overlay a text. So let's say that I'm going to overlay something. Just say it's instructions to my client. I want it in red. It's like leaving your own post-it note, and they'll see, and you can come back and exit out anytime that you want. So we've done that, and let's say like I'm worried that they won't read it if it's red, so I'm going to put a highlight right here. I'm going to save it back, right? And let's say now that this form is done. So let me show you all the information you left just now. Like, so when they open it, they will see all these things. And I'm going to leave this here just to show you. I know it's kind of messy, but I'll leave this here just to show functionality. So they have similar functionality, except you control all the things you left, right? So that is, in a nutshell, sort of all these things. The other thing that you're seeing here is there's a copy document. So just in case you have two applicants and they each need to fill in their version of the co-op application, and you just copy the document. And voila, I did it twice, but it shows up here twice. So now same thing, same co-op purchase application, a blank one. And then, so your second applicant can fill it out, and you think, okay, I need the first one here, second one here. Every time you see these arrows, you can reposition it. And then you're like, okay, I'm going to delete this. So everything works the same way. Nothing has changed. It's all, the functionality stays the same for every single section of how you apply. And let's say this is the PDF I uploaded earlier, and you're saying, well, that was a form. I have a PDF that can't be filled in like this, and it's ugly, and they're forcing me. What do I do? Same thing. I'm going to overlay my text. I can adjust the fonts to fit. And then you can keep going. Here's my date. Fine. And so on and so forth. So it's essentially you're sort of your own, and same thing, you can do the highlight, the redacts, everything works the same. So if it's a HTML form, you just fill in the blue boxes. If it's something you uploaded or it looks like a PDF, you can just start filling it out this way by going back. So let me go back to the requirements now. So let's say like you've done this and now you want to share, right? Because you've done the basic stuff and I want to share my buyer. Great, I go here. You can share every requirement you could with your buyer, or anybody you invite to the package, or you can share limited stuff. So let's say that I know that with Kenji, they want to see everything except 21 and 22, right? So, and now I'm going to invite Kenji in, and they only see 21 and 22. But then remember, remember now, I had also had Ruth on there. And so now I can invite Ruth on there. And Ruth is the shareholder agent. So you see there's a check show all automatically defaults into that because she probably uses it. But if not, you can uncheck it and then you can sort of play around with it. But let's say that, okay, she's the shareholder agent I'm sending. And then it's not a real email, so I'm not going to send it out and cause issues. But you can send, and then Ruth has the same thing as the shareholder, as the broker that you can see. But also, if you have, once you've invited them in, you can leave a message for them inside the system. So So every section has a chat box right here. And so you can just keep chatting with each other about the individual sections only. And the reason why this is done is because the property manager will have the same chat box back, and they'll be able to chat back with you on each individual sections after you submit it. So if you have anything wrong in any section, the message will just come into that section instead of like you searching for it. So let's say
great.
now that, sorry.
So if you had submitted the package and they had a question on one section, they would let you know. That's terrific.
Correct. So let's say now that you're looking like, I want a blank package, and you think, oh, you see here the view and print, nothing is generated, and you can't view, you can't print it yet. So we've done all these things as a finish, like a checklist. So I finished this section, I finished this section, and I'm still reviewing these sections. So if you don't check all these things off as finished, this view and print will not light up. So I'll get back to this in a second, and you can see like it tells you. So let's say now that, all right, I've done all I can as an agent, I've invited my client in, and now it's my client's turn. So I'm going to show you real quick what Kenji sees. So this is board packager again. Now let's say your client was invited to the package. They will get something like this. Hey, invite to the package. You see one that says comment on the package. So every time you leave something, you tell your client, you don't have to tell them, hey, I did this. You know, I left you a comment, the notification, oh, I joined you. You will get this invite. So there we go. So you see, like, I'm Kenji. I'm going to go into the standard login. And same annoying thing shows up every time. But just to give you an idea, before I go into the package, they have a very similar dashboard to yours, but you can tell that yours has a lot more functionality, and your client will have something very simple. It's the same for all buyers, all sellers. If they are not agents or property managers, everybody has a much simpler cut down package. So let's say this is Kenji. I just got this today. I'm going to open it. It's already let me here. You can see shareholder names, buy agents, package processor. Everything's the same and filled out. Now I'm going to look at and they have the same requirements. And you can see if you had locked, remember you clicked one where it says finish. The minute you click finish, you lock the requirement and nobody else can touch it. And you can see now Kenji can't do anything here. They can look at the purchase application that you uploaded. So let's say Kenji says, okay, let me do a preview. Okay, enter with current, et cetera, et cetera. So now Kenji can go in and like, okay, let me fill in and sign. And if I'm looking here at sign and edit, because this is just the form, and then you can see, okay, please update with current, please do this, please do that. You're like, okay, I'll do this, I'll do that.
Now, Ming, once he does that, will you be able to take out the portion that you've got the note to him on?
Yeah, you can take out all the portions of the notes. You can do
at any time. Okay.
Yeah, and because this is unlocked, like they can leave their own, they can update it as well, and then you can see the comment there, and then I can reply. So let's say now that I've done, let's say Kenji went in and filled out everything that they needed. And Kenji went through and looked through all the rest of the stuff, and same thing, the upload works the same way. I'm gonna upload something here. And I can move it to the very, very top. Right, here's my bank commitment letter. And then when I'm done, leave a note here. you don't have to leave a note every time. Obviously, like you mark done, your client marks done, they will know. But I'm just doing this for show. But and you can keep uploading everything, so everything works the same. And notice there's nothing in their library, so. Let's see. We can do multiple ones. And even if they don't adjust it, you can always go back and adjust it yourself. Like let's say, let's say you need this number one. Let's say Kenji's like, I need this number one. And then I'm done. I'm gonna finish. And let's say Kenji is like, all right, I've done every section. I'm done. So the only other thing that Kenji has these two tabs, that fees and status. You have the same fees and status too, and you'll say when it started, when it got here. But you see the fees thing is, they can't access it because it's not ready. So let's say Kenji's like, all right, I'm all done and I'm waiting for you. And now we're back to your dashboard.
Kenji, I think you froze on us. Kenji?
It seems like.
I mean, Ming seems to have frozen on us.
Yeah, I think he might have dropped his internet.
Okay. He said he was having a few problems.
Oh, okay. Let me. Yeah, I think he just disconnected. But he's probably trying to rejoin right now.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So let me...
Well, it's good to have a pause right now. It's a lot of information to digest.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Definitely good though. I mean,
it's great.
It's to be, you really can follow exactly what you have to do and what the next step is, and the communication part is great with the managing agent, etc. So that's great. Yeah.
Very cool. Let me see. Has he messaged you at all, or?
No.
Okay. Let me see. Oh, there he is. Okay, great. Hi, Ming.
We lost you, Ming.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Everything just sort of dropped and died.
Okay.
It happens. Technology is great when it works, and not great when it doesn't. It happens to all of us. We all know.
Okay, so we're back, and sorry about all this. Let me share screen again. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so we're just on notifications, and you can see like all the things, everything that happens with you and your client and stuff are all logged. Everything, especially whatever your client does, it will be on. See how many documents they've uploaded, tax returns, logged. Everything is logged, right? So if any comments are made, so let's go back to the package real quick, and those are your notifications up here. And I'm going back to the same package. Oh, I put in a $15 million partner. I didn't realize it.
I know. I was happy with the deal. Very happy.
Yes, the two of us on the deal.
I'm telling you, we're doing good.
Great deal. So let's say that you looked at it and everything looks good, and you thought to yourself, "Oh, I got to go back to that purchase app because something was off with it."
After you locked it, you can go back because you're the one that's hosting it.
So let's say everything's done. Let me X out of everything here. I'm going to leave the, and then I'm just going to leave the signature here just for show. So I deleted all that. right? And you can kind of see. So let's say like, all right, I'm done. I'm just going to do one quick double check. Yep, signature there, everything done, great. So now let's say everything is done. And even if you had it blank and you wanted to just print it blank, you could do the same thing. You go down the checklist, you click your finish for everything. And again, it's really, we saw it as a checklist, so think of it that way. And I'm done, I'm done, I'm done. And all 24, voila. Every time you finish the checklist, the system will prompt you to generate the package. So now, as it generates the package, you'll be able to preview the whole thing. You can download it if you need to, but essentially, it's just generated and locked. And then what happens on our system is that you can unlock and update the package anytime. And if you unlock something, it will prompt you to update the package. So a fairly simple sort of check and balance just to make sure. And nobody on this side, nobody once you locked it can do anything. And now you see it'll tell you proceed the fees to submit.
Ning, does this come with dividers? Like some buildings, they want dividers when they get it. It goes by whatever the building asked for?
Yes. Yeah, we'll have, well, it's up, all the requirements, everything will be here. And then really, you know, your job as the broker is just double check it and make sure everything's ready. But yes. And it will route one. So I'm just going to show you a preview. So just now somebody was talking like this, so that everything generates automatically. So this is the cover, sort of the cover page with all the information. All the deal parties will be listed on here. So you don't, I think somebody asked about a deal sheet. Well, this kind of functions as your deal parties if you need a deal sheet because it has the unit, the purchase price, etc. Right? And then you go to like your cover letter. So I deleted that cover letter, so there's nothing that section. But look like here's your addendum. I didn't fill out, but let me get to. Remember the purchase application you filled out, redax, et cetera, et cetera. So this is, and then you can always jump, if you're on Google, Chrome, you can always jump to like a different section. Let's say I was looking at my personal letter, but I didn't upload one. Okay, I didn't upload for financing, et cetera. So fairly simple. And now, let's say that, okay, I want to go to the next step. You can go up here, but it tells you fees at submit. So this is the other, your last step before you submit. You see how it's not lit up green? Because you have to assign this and then you have to calculate, let's see, 115, because there are two applicants. And then you notify the assignees. And now Kenji will get the thing and the fees will light up. And when he authorizes it, not pays it, authorizes it, this will light up and you can submit it to the package processor. And it will just automatically route to Denise Ortiz at Element. And you can check the status. The only thing not showing here is board review. So when it goes in the package processor, gets it, it'll tell you what time they opened it, when they collected the fees, and then it will tell you when it's in board review. And that'll be the last thing. It's just not here because it doesn't always go to board review this way. But it'll show up here. And that, if there are any changes that need to be made, let's say Denise messages you back and she says, oh, in section 18, you forgot to upload something. Let's say section 18 here. So all you do is you click this. Let's say you have to upload something. You're like, oh, I forgot to upload this. And then and watch. It will prompt you to update the package, and you don't have to resubmit it again. The package has been updated on Denise Ortiz's side, and she will get a notification that you have
Wow, that's great. That's great.
So anything's missing, you just update it in that section. You don't have to do anything else. And if you need Kenji to update it, all you do is uncheck the finish, and then you can leave a message for Kenji, hey, please finish this section. And he'll get the message, he'll go to that section, and he'll complete it for you. Right, and I'm gonna call up Kenji's one real quick while this is updating. So just to see, like, all right, here's Kenji. And you can see his dashboard here. And it says fees assigned. Let's say I'm going to fees right now. And it just says I have to authorize. I'm not clicking this because like you just have to authorize the fees. It has the processing, you know, and once it authorizes, it will green the other side to send it in. And for Kenji, oh, just now I forgot to mention one point. Remember we withheld a couple different 2 sections from Kenji.
Yes.
You see here we have 24, but Kenji didn't see the actual 21 and 22. Instead, you see 23 and 24 moved up. So he doesn't even know that there are 2 sections that he didn't even see.
Right.
Right. So if you have a guarantor sections, whatever it is, they won't even know that there are sections that they didn't see. Right? See, everything's accepted, everything's locked, and they can have their own view and print if they want to. Very, very similar functionalities to what you have. You as agents just have a lot more. Right? Same thing. So you see the same thing. Nothing changes. So that, let's say submitted, everything here as well. But let's say that, you know, this is your system package and you think to yourself, oh, I don't have and let's say I'm looking at a building, I want to find 4001. And this address is in our system. So this is where you can create a custom package. Everything is the same with the custom package, with the exception of certain things are just not locked. It'll tell you initiate this, let's say it's a condo. It'll prompt you to enter all these information and then you can continue, right? And you don't. So I'm gonna show you one that I've already done. Which was this one, 2222 Samson. So I filled all these things in earlier and locked the package as his name. I haven't invited anybody in yet, but you can see same function. And here's the thing, the transfer agent, you can fill in anybody's name, right? This is unlocked. Before it was locked. So now if you shared it, they would get like similar invite, like the way your client did. I get the invite, I get to go in, and then look at the requirements, right? Same thing. The only difference is that the requirements here are all yours to build. And you can go in and build.
So if you had gotten a package from a managing agent that's not in the system, you could take all their documents and just upload them and create the package.
Yep. Right? You can upload it and then fill it in via our system, or you can fill it in, create the package dividers and all sections here, right? And then just upload it. So it's up to you. You can upload a blank one. You can upload a completed one. All right, you see the applicant summary here. And same thing, I lock everything. I finished. And remember, I didn't put anybody in deal parties. So you'll notice that there's nobody in deal parties. There's nobody in deal parties showing up now, but if I added them in, you can share. Same thing, fees and submit. It will tell you here, there are no fees, so you can submit to the package processor anytime you want. And then they get an invite, and then they get very similar to what your client will see, a PDF. They don't get all this edit functionality. They just get a PDF version that they can view inside the system. They don't have to download it. They don't have to download any software. And the account is automatically open for them. They don't have to register. They just put in a password, and it gives them the account access automatically. So if you had a custom package that you want to deliver this way, you can. And we've done this on a regular basis we know independent brokers who've done this for property management companies outside of our system, and some will accept, some won't, but in this environment, most will,
Okay.
because it's the same thing as a paper package.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing.
And now, like you say, in this environment where they're not open necessarily, or you can't get it to them, being able to download it and create a package is great.
Yes, yes. So I think most of the questions have been taken care of.
Suppose, I have one question before we end. Okay, so suppose I'm stuck on something or I'm having a problem, you know, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to get this package in. I don't know how to do this. What do we do?
So you can always email info@boardpackager.com. You go to support, and if whatever you find isn't satisfactory here, it's not a big deal. You can always contact us. We do everything by email because we have somebody watching all emails, and then they assign it to the right person to answer your questions, etc. For BHS clients, we actually offer you guys concierge service. So we will not only walk you through whatever you need to do, we will walk all your deal parties through whatever.
Oh, great.
You don't have to teach your clients anything. You just say, hey, I need my client to learn how to do this, and no problem. You will do everything for you. Now, this isn't a sale. I'm not going to do a sales pitch, but I see a couple of specialist questions here, so I'll just quickly answer. So we have our own service because brokers started asking us to say, hey, can we hire you to do all this for us and communicate with the property manager on our behalf? So we actually have a team, a specialist team that just does all that. So the packages are here, you'll see. And basically the specialist package is we do all the work. We fill out the forms, we do the reviews, we check everything, we train everybody, we make sure everything's there, and then we give it to you to review. But everything is done through your account. You invite us in as a co-broker, and then when it's done, you disinvite us, so everything looks like your thing. We will help you submit it. So basically, for what we call a specialist package, it's to basically be your assistant to do everything. And I will say this, like our customer service and our specialists, we've done work for people like when their clients have been in Asia, so time difference doesn't matter. Customers in various parts of the world, in Europe, we've actually had a broker use Board Packager to do, and I told her this the other day, like she mentioned to us, I think it was like 6-8 weeks ago, she was stuck in Brazil and she submitted a board package this way and got everybody in. So it's fairly flexible. If you want to do it by yourself, we feel that it's fairly intuitive and it might take a little bit to get go, but there's support for you if you need. But if you don't want to do the support and you feel like it's more worth your time, we average a fair amount of specialist packages every month where brokers will hire us, and typically, again, it just depends on how you do your workflow.
And I'm sure, like anything, Ming, it's a question of getting comfortable with it. The first time you're going to probably have a lot of questions, and the second time you're going to have less questions, and it's like anything. I see somebody asked a question. Suppose the managing agent waived one of the fees.
Very good. Good question. Sorry, I missed that. So if you see here, let's say the fee is waived, but it still shows up here, right?
Right.
You see this building waiver code. What happens is that in every instance on our system, this transfer agent is supposed to email you a building waiver code. She has to generate a specific building waiver code just for this application. So you will email Denise and they will give you a building waiver code that you can then cut and paste and apply the code. And you see, like, I don't have the right one, it won't apply. And then they will know, like, okay, the code's applied.
Okay, good.
So there is a waiver code. So anything, you see, it doesn't work, so like nothing works. So Denise here in this instance will give you a building waiver code to submit.
So she'd know how to do that. Okay.
Yes,
All
yes.
right. All right.
And they can generally waive. Well, they can waive every specific fee. So you'll ask them and they'll tell you.
Okay. I think we went through all the questions.
Yes. I think that's it. I would just say this, and this happened fairly recently. you can cancel or archive your package here. We've had this happen fairly recently a couple of times where people cancel the packages and they didn't mean to, or they accidentally, or one time somebody said their son got in and started playing around. Within reason, because it's a package you own, let's say within a very short period of time, like an hour, a couple hours, we can generally pull the whole package back whole. I'm not guaranteeing it. Within reason, you can extract it. But if you delete individual documents and stuff, we don't have a way of bringing back individual documents for
Well,
you.
for security purposes too, I'm sure you can. Okay.
And then
So
when
keep
you're
your
done,
kids away.
yeah,
Okay.
when you're done, you can always archive the package. That's why I have an archive package section done. But as a live thing, and whenever it's a live package, until it's been approved and closed by the package processor, just leave it open, and you can filter all package types if you want. So.
Okay. All right. Okay, Ming. Well, you gave us a lot of information. I think, as I said, it's just getting comfortable with it, and
Yeah. info@boardpatcher.com, or you see this here, and just email us, and we will always walk you through it. Corporate clients get white glove concierge treatment.
Great. Okay. Well, Ming, I want to thank you very much. I think this was great, and I want to thank Jeremy Kersner for being there behind the scenes and being there with us, and for Michael Bloom, who helps put these together and makes these all happen, and for all of you who joined in today. So thank you, Ming. Say hi to James for us too.
Yes.
He's been in our office many times, and we look forward to getting very comfortable with this. I'm sure some brokers already are, and doing lots of board packages with you. So thank you.
Just saw a note from
everybody.
John Berger. Some guy with like a packaging company owns board package, boardpackage.com, but we own boardpackage.com. That's it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.